taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we are going to take another look at ranked battles. Yes, I have finally sat myself down in front of the computer here and played ranked battles for a significant period of time and managed to grind my way past rank 10. I had been stuck on rank 10 for the longest time. Anyway, as I'm speaking, I'm now at rank 7, I believe, and what today's video is going to take a look at is we're actually going to take a look at two battles. The battle I had while I was rank 10 and a battle I had while I was rank 9. Both were very, very good battles, and what I'm really liking about these ranked battles, the higher up the ranks I get, is the more teamwork I see. Because these two videos have less to do about me and more to do about the actual teamwork that is taking place. You will see, I believe, it might be this clip, but you'll see, I mean, I do pretty well. But the only reason why I do so well is because I had the team there supporting me, and I was actually in a position to work with the team, and I just so happened to get those kills. So, you know, that's what we're taking a look at now. You can see the first battle here. So this is, I am rank 10 at this point. You'll also note that when you get to rank 10, to work your way down, you know, it's not just a matter of getting one victory and then getting to rank 9, one victory, rank 8. No. You have to get a multiple victories here in order to progress along. I think it might be 4 stars you need to get to the next rank. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously. But anyway, you know, you need a few victories in order to progress once you get to that rank 10 mark. So, you can see that my team has decided that we are essentially, we're all going to go to the A cap point here. We do have a destroyer or some destroyers that are heading over to the B cap point, which is where the enemy is primarily focused. And their job over there is simply to, you know, maybe try and cap it or put a little pressure on it and then run away. The objective is not to you know, not to get killed, obviously, and you're not going to be able to stick around there long enough to cap the point. You just want someone there to maybe put a little pressure on it, maybe have the enemy think that you are in fact pushing on that point. So that's what they're over there doing. I don't necessarily agree with a cruiser being over there, but that's what that person decided to do, so alright. Here I come. You can see that there are 3 enemy destroyers on the enemy ship, so I am going to keep my high explosive loaded for right now. I don't see any need to have armor piercing loaded at this time. High explosive just makes the most sense in this situation. We do have an enemy destroyer out front. It's a Hasuaru, so I'm going to immediately start putting shots into this guy. Anything I can do to him to get him gone, help support my destroyer. You'll also notice that I do have some allies, well, a ally battleship coming in behind me, so that is great. Because I want to have his support as well. Especially when you get to this section of the map right here, if you're on the A cap or even the B cap point, you just reverse the positions here. It's fairly open, right? So now I'm exposing broadsides to any enemies on the east, so try and keep this in mind when you're pushing into this area. Generally speaking, it's best idea is not to push this area quickly or very soon. Let your destroyers come in here, do the work, and then you come in and secure it. Ideally, in this situation, it happened to work out for me. I was able to get in here, kill the destroyer. Fantastic, not too bad. But now, I mean, looking around, you see that yes, there are enemy ships behind us. For the most part, my team is kind of spread out. You can see we have 2 ships over there in the east, and I've got 3 ships over here with me in the west. So the ships on the west, you know, now it's up to us to figure out, are we going to go over there and save those ships on the east, or are we going to sacrifice them? It's a ranked battle, and that is a very hard call to make. If this was random, it'd probably be pretty easy, sacrifice them. But it's ranked. We need every ship we have if we're going to have any chance of doing anything at all, you know, ultimately getting the victory here as well, right? So, very important, and you'll notice that my Fubuki is capping that B cap point. So, you know, it makes the decision for me fairly easy. Yeah, I'm moving in. I'm going to be supporting these guys. We are going to be taking this point. At least that's my plan initially at this time, right? So you can see I do have enemy battleships out there. I've got a turbines that I need to deal with. I have armor piercing loaded, but the better call I'm pretty sure would be high explosive. The armor piercing was loaded because I saw the Pensacola in the background and I wanted to try and get him, but he was out of my range, wasn't able to do it. So armor piercing is loading up, but I have a high explosive queued up because obviously I'm facing off against a destroyer here. So I'm going to empty out the barrels of the armor piercing. Yeah, I might do whatever damage I do to the destroyer here, that'll be fine. In the meantime though, the enemy destroyer did manage to take out my friendly destroyer, the Fubuki, that had capped the B point, so he is gone now. That is unfortunate, but whatever. I've got high explosive loaded up, so there it goes into the Hatsuharu. He just took a big hit from one of my allies, and my shots come in and finish him off. Fantastic. And you can really see the value here of remaining, you know, within a reasonable distance of your allies so they can support you, right? That Hatsuharu would still be alive if I didn't have an ally shoot in, do a bunch of damage to him, and then have my shots come in and finish him off, right? He would potentially could still be alive wreaking havoc, so we don't need that. So now we are at a ship disadvantage. You'll notice that I only have 4 ally ships remaining, whereas the enemy has 5 ally ships remaining. So that is something that we need to consider. The enemy destroyer back here has popped up. Where I'm a cruiser, it is solely my job to support my friendly destroyer here in his endeavors in killing this enemy destroyer, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. My original plans were to circle and head towards the east, but no, once that enemy destroyer popped up, I immediately need to circle back towards the west, get this island out of the way so I can start putting shots in on that enemy destroyer and hopefully save my friendly destroyer. That's the plan anyway. You'll notice that the enemy for the most part is staying on the east side. They're in behind those islands. Those islands are a great piece of cover, right? You can really use them effectively. What you want to try to avoid with those islands is getting yourself into a situation where you're relying on the islands too much, and suddenly you find yourself sticking near the islands and unwilling to maneuver around the battlefield because you just don't want to come out of cover. You want to keep this in mind and you want to watch out for it. I'm not saying that the enemy ships over there are necessarily doing this, but I just wanted to point it out to you. It happens to me all the time. I get in those islands, I start thinking that those islands are great, I'm invincible. What happens? Sure, I don't die and I don't take a whole lot of damage, but at the end of the day, I haven't accomplished a whole lot for my team. I get some nice hits on this enemy destroyer, so that's not too bad at all, but, you know, he repairs those immediately. So, yeah, not really, didn't really, you know, last very long, the fire and taking out his engines, but whatever. Still damage done, right? So I'm going to get more shots into him, and you can see I'm coming back into the A cap point now at this time as well. We still have our 4 enemy ships, and luckily we managed to take out another enemy ship. So now we're even in ships in total, and we're trying to take out this enemy destroyer. So if we can take out this enemy destroyer, that'll be the last enemy destroyer, plus it'll give us the ship advantage, and hopefully the cap point advantage, or sorry, the point advantage. I mean, it's really close right now anyway, so it's hard to call. But I'm still taking a look at the ships on the east, because frankly, I'm very, very surprised that they aren't shooting at me and taking me out. And then I look over and I can see that they're all busily attacking my friendly North Carolina. So, okay, I need to, you know, get in here and take some heat off this North Carolina, because you'll notice that my North Carolina is hunting down their enemy battleship, and they're actually in quite a little duel right now. And so if I can take some heat off my friendly battleship in terms of this Pensacola, I'm going to do that. I'm going to help them out. Hopefully, you know, we'll both survive this. Unfortunately, my friendly destroyer is now gone. That enemy destroyer managed to finish him off. That was unfortunate. I need to turn now to maneuver, to keep in mind, right, he's probably firing torpedoes at me, or getting ready to, so I'm just going to maneuver around. I do have high explosive loaded. I've got armor piercing loaded with high explosive queued up in the barrels. The thought here is that I'm going to get that one salvo off at the Pensacola. I'm going to load my high explosive and have it ready for the destroyer when he comes. Blam! I did not expect to completely destroy the Pensacola like that, but it was fantastic that I actually managed to do that and get a devastating strike out of it as well. So that wasn't too bad. Quite surprising, and I'm quite pleased with that as well. 2 enemy ships remaining. We do have a destroyer remaining, so that is probably the biggest threat here. And why is the biggest threat is because I have a battleship, a North Carolina over here, and I want to try and make sure that I screen my ally so that when the destroyer pops or rears his ugly head, you know, I'm going to be in a position to defend my battleship. put shots into that friendly destroyer, or into the enemy destroyer, and hopefully take him out. My battleship is obviously dealing with the Mogami over here. They're going to get into a nice little duel here as well, actually. Turns out pretty crazy. I start putting shots into the Mogami, and I have armor piercing loaded up because it is in fact a Mogami. So at these ranges involved, I'm hoping to get some nice citadel hits. Retrospect though, I probably would have been better off with high explosive because he's not presenting a broadside to me. I'd have to get fairly lucky in order to get a citadel hit on him, but whatever, it works out. You can see my North Carolina is moving in there. Obviously the Mogami is reloading and or repairing his torpedoes, and this is going to save my North Carolina because look at the distances involved. I mean, they're practically touching right now. In fact, at this point in time, I thought that the Mogami was going to reverse into that North Carolina and try and ram him and take him out that way. Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen because it is really close. But you can see he turns at the last minute. Unfortunately, I have an island moving in front of me so that I can't continue to put shots into that Mogami, and now it's up to the North Carolina to take that Mogami out. In the meantime, the enemy destroyer is putting pressure on the A cap point and obviously starting to cap that A cap point. So I'm I'm loading up my high explosive now, turning my ship around because I need to deal with this enemy destroyer. While I'm maneuvering to get into place for the enemy destroyer, I will also be able to shoot back at the Mogami if I need to. Say for example this North Carolina does not finish off the Mogami, well, I want to be in a position that I can just lob some shells over, finish them off, and it's done. Obviously I would be helping the North Carolina out, you know, but I've got this island in front of me and I've got this destroyer to deal with as well. My North Carolina though, he's no scrub, so he takes out the enemy Mogami. Now we are just looking at this enemy destroyer remaining, and then we have victory in the bag. So that is fantastic. This was a great game. I really, like I mentioned at the beginning here, you know, I really like the teamwork that I'm seeing in these battles. It is phenomenal. I like the fact that the ranked battles at the higher ranks are weeding out the window lickers, right? The people who are in it for themselves and they don't understand the concept of teamwork. I like how those people are being weeded out, and I'm finally starting to come across people for whom you can respect, right? You can respect what they're doing and the fact that they've won. You're not you're a little angry, but you're not, you know, just so pissed off that they won for, you know, stupid reasons. You sit there and you go, no, they won because they just had better teamwork than us. Not that I've lost, actually. While the battle's finishing up here, I am on just a crazy hot streak in terms of ranked battles. Now that I'm talking about it, knock on wood there, wood desk. Now that I'm talking about it, probably going to break my streak. But I started playing ranked battles today. I lost one battle, and every other battle from that was a victory. A really good victory as well. In fact, I had 4 clips that I wanted to show in this video, but that would make the video an hour long. So I'm not going to be able to show all 4. Instead, I have to show 2 in this video and 2 in another upcoming video. Yes. But moving on. You can see the enemy destroyer more or less has kind of run away at this point. And I struggle to say run away because he is actually fairly close to me. I just don't see him yet. But, you know, whatever. I'm going to move into the A cap point. I'm going to cap this point out. I really don't want to have to sit here and wait for 1,000 points to come up before we actually win. I really do actually want to take out the destroyer just to get the battle over with. In these ranked battles, I don't like to leave anything to chance because I've seen it time and time again where the enemy team or where my team, you know, we're just down so hard and it looks like there's no way that we're possibly going to win, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we win. I suspected the enemy destroyer was coming this way, so I had my guns lined up for him. There goes some first shots into him, do a bit of damage, set him on fire. That's not too bad at all. I've also got a close expert flag on my ship, I believe, as well, so that's helping out with extending the secondary battery range, and I have advanced firing training on the Mogami as well here, so my secondary batteries have a bit of range to them. Not too bad at all. Just while we're finishing up the enemy destroyer here, waiting for victory, I also ran into a player today who kept telling me to switch over to the 155 cannons. Yeah, those of you may recall that I had already discussed with about the 155s, and for me they don't work. I'm not good enough with them. I don't know if they're just crappy or whatever. I can't make them work. the 208s is what does it for me. So there we go, victory, 247,000 credits, 3,000 experience, number of kills, citadel, shots in. Looking at the overall team list, I'm second overall, so that is not too bad at all. We have over half of my team is above 1,000 experience earned, which is fantastic, and it brings it back to the teamwork that you start seeing in these battles. Very, very nice. At the rank 10, hit or miss with these good teams, but I find the closer you get to rank 1, the better they are. Really something to see here. Moving into the next battle now, or rather it's going to pop up shortly here. So you can see next battle is up, and we are in Land of Fire. So another rank battle. Now this is the battle where I earn rank 9, or rather I am rank 9 in this battle. The battle we just saw was the leading up to earning rank 9. So this is a rank 9 battle here, Land of Fire. So again, you know, very same thing for a rank battle. Just looking around, seeing what the allies are going to do, communicating in chat there just to make sure that everyone knows where they are going to be going, because we really don't want to, you know, split our forces and just fail overall. That's not what you're looking to do in a ranked battle, obviously. So the team has made up their minds, and we are in fact going to go and take the B cap point. Yeah, I like taking the B cap point. In fact, well, now that I say that, you know, on this map, I'm fairly, I don't really care because what side we go to. I do find that if you go to A, you end up getting there really quickly, especially because most people go to A because that's where they spawn and that's where they're, you know, the closest to. So you end up getting there really quickly, and then the enemy team ends up showing up with a bunch of battleships, and you're just duking it out, and it's a slugfest there. And there's not really a whole lot of cover. Whereas at B, there's a lot more little islands you can use and go in between, sort of use as a bit of cover, break line of sight every now and then. And that's sort of why I lean towards B, just my own personal preference on this map. But that being said, I mean, you could do the same thing with A, because there are islands around A that you can utilize as well. But anyway, similar strategy here as well. I mean, you can see we've got the destroyers out front. I'm at full speed, so I'm just trying to catch up with some of my with the cruiser there that's up front. But I'm also keeping an eye on the battleships. In fact, in some of these ranked battles, I don't know if it shows it in these two clips, but at the beginning I'll actually set my speed to 3/4. And the reason I do this is just to make sure that I'm not outpacing or, you know, getting out front way ahead of the battleships. Because I tend to see a lot of, you know, Amagis, North Carolinas, Tirpitz in these battles, and I guess you're going to say, yeah, those are the only battleships you can play Thotgor. Well, yeah, I know. At tier 8 anyway, right? So I see a lot of those ships, so by bringing my speed to 3/4, I can more or less let them catch up to me, and then I can move along at full speed. So it's also nice thing to do, and a little tip there for you as well, just to make sure that when you arrive at the battle line or at the point, or at the, you know, the cap point that you're trying to take, that you're not the first person there, and you're not the first person that the enemies are going to start shooting at. If, of course, you're playing a cruiser or destroyer. When you're in your battleships in these ranked battles, it's completely different, I imagine. I'm not going to comment on how different it is, because frankly I don't play battleships in ranked battles, so any tips I would give you about a battleship in ranked battle would just be pure conjecture, so I'm not even going to go there. We are talking cruisers and destroyers. Cruisers for the most part, though, because in ranked battles, you know, I'm just destroying people with this Mogami. I mean, I love the Mogami anyway. It's an amazing ship, and I love that I'm able to use it in ranked battles now, just because it's so fun to play for me. So we've capped the B point, so that's fantastic. We're looking around at the enemies. The enemies are, it did kind of look like they were going to be as well, at least these two cruisers, right, that we can see there. But now they're sort of turning back, and I'm putting shots into this cruiser here. I have armor piercing loaded, obviously, because this is a Japanese cruiser, so we're going to do a bit of damage to this guy if we can land any nice shots, you know, get some citadels potentially. But looking as well, you can see it's getting a little hairy here now, right? I've got a Tirpitz, I've got that enemy cruiser, I've got a North Carolina back there as well. There's a nice citadel on the enemy cruiser, but it's not worth my health and my life to stick around in this situation and just let them continue to batter away at me. You can see I'm almost down to half health at this time, so I really want to be careful. I just got set on fire, so I take that fire and put it out. There's a Pensacola, still have armor piercing loaded, so we'll fire off whatever I've got at that guy, and I'm just making more or less a straight line just out of here. I don't want to be here right now. There's a nice citadel hit on the Pensacola as well, so that's not too bad at all. And you can see by moving out like this, I'm circling in behind my battleships. I'm going to let the battleships come up and start taking more of the fire and more of the damage because they have more hit points. Also, by circling out, I was able to take the pressure off myself and put it on some of these other allies I have around me. Now, you might be thinking that's fairly mean to do, but it actually is not. We all have hit points, right? And we're just sharing the hit points right now. I did my fair share, and now these other allies around me are going to do their fair share of absorbing some of this damage. Because at the end of the day as well, I mean, I'm only a cruiser, a Japanese cruiser at that, so fairly easy to take down with some well-placed shots. I just can't duke it out against a Tirpitz. It's just not going to happen. So there's a Tirpitz. I'm firing armor-piercing at him, but I'm queued up high explosive. Obvious reasons, right? As a Tirpitz at range, I'm going to want to set him on fire and get that done. We are busily, or rather we have capped the A point while all of this maneuvering was taking place, and while we were doing that, the enemy did manage to come in here and take the B point. Not such a big deal. We're leading by one ship, and we still have at least 1 point, so I don't really care that we've lost this B point. And looking at the allies as well, you can see, I mean, we're in a position that we'll probably be taking this B point back shortly here as well, just while we all get sort of in a better position to deal with the enemy ships that we're faced with at this time. So that's sort of what we're doing right now. And again, I'm circling back around because I'm not going to just drive in a straight line, like go from, what point is this? Go from B to A, then A to B, back and forth like that. No, I'll just do some circles and around and back of B, shoot at what I can, do some damage, support the team. Keep in mind as well, there is at least one enemy destroyer remaining as well, so I want to keep an eye out on my battleships for that destroyer. Bit embarrassing right here because I do ground myself. Yep. I'm really lucky though that I didn't just get blown into the water right here by this Tirpitz. Really lucky, in fact. So I immediately start reversing the ship here, right? And we're going to get ourselves out of this situation. In fact, at this point in time, I am going to be working around the island that I just smashed into, and I'm going to be attacking the enemy from the A cap point. Is what I've decided at this time, because I've grounded myself, right? I've just completely lost the initiative. All my speed maneuverability is gone. I have to get myself out of this situation before the Tirpitz really starts to try to deal with me. And you can see that there are other ships in the background that are popping in and out that are taking shots at me. So I really don't want to stick around here and continue that turn back towards my friendly battleship. So I'm going to move, and we're going to go into A now. So got a nice hit there on the Tirpitz and set him on fire, so that's great. He puts out the fire, so now we all know that his repair is on cooldown. So if I can get another fire started, that'd be great, because then hopefully that fire will burn continuously until either it runs out or his cooldown ends maybe 40 seconds later, hopefully. Taking a look at other targets that are off in the distance here as well, I mean, I am primarily focusing on the Tirpitz because it's the Tirpitz that I have the best shots on right now. But as I'm coming around the island or making my way towards the edge of the island here, you can see more enemy ships starting to pop up. So okay, we're going to start dealing with these. You'll notice that the enemy destroyer is gone at this point, so I don't have to concern myself with providing screen to the battleships anymore, because the battleships are going to be able to take care of themselves without any destroyers or aircraft carriers to worry about. So I don't have to worry about that, so that's not too bad at all. And now I'm going to line up some torpedoes on this enemy ship here if he comes around the headland. But you can see that there's an island, right? So he's actually going to go beyond that island, the Tirpitz is, and then I'm not going to waste my torpedo shot on that, so no. Put some high explosive into the Tirpitz and then immediately start turning away so I'm not presenting a broadside to him. Again, Mogami here, and I don't want to get citadeled and just die. I'm pretty close to death right now, and I'm trying to stay alive for the team, obviously. Plus, I want to win. You obviously want to win all your ranked battles, right? There's another fire on the Tirpitz, so that's not too bad at all. He's down to about half health now, so you can see that the team and I have managed to whittle this guy down from full health to half health, so that is not too shabby at all. And we're taking a look around at the enemy ships remaining. We did just destroy another enemy ship. It was a cruiser, I believe it was a Pensacola, so he's gone now as well. And there are only 3 enemy ships remaining now at this point, so everything is looking fairly good for us. Looks like we're going to have a victory out of this battle after all, so that's great. Just can't, count your eggs before they hatch. I think, yeah, I think that's the saying, I'm not sure. Anyway, enemy ships are behind the island, so I don't have any shots on them at this time. I was considering moving into the back over to the B point and capping that, but you'll notice that I do have allies who are already taking that initiative, so it's sort of overkill if I go over there and start capping it with them. So instead, I'll just continue along my course here and try and get some shots into these enemy ships as they come back around the island. So we've got a Tirpitz, we've got a North Carolina to deal with. There's another enemy ship out there as well, but I'm not exactly sure where he is at this time, so I'm not going to concern myself with him. It's not like it's a rogue destroyer going around using his stealth and launching torpedoes and crap like that. That's not happening, so yeah, I'm not really concerned about tracking that guy down. Just checking my torpedoes to see if I have any shots on anyone, specifically the North Carolina. He'd be the only one I could actually get with torpedoes right now, but no shots available, so alright, just keep putting my high explosive into the Tirpitz along with everyone else. You can see we are all focusing down this Tirpitz, which is really nice. I like seeing us focus fire like this. It's always nice, and I'm sure we all know the benefits of focusing fire as well, so we don't need to necessarily go over those. Put some shots into the North Carolina there because he presented himself for me. Did a bit of damage, but didn't set any fires or anything like that, so that's not too bad. There we catch a glimpse of the other enemy cruiser. So there are 3 ships, 2 battleships, and a cruiser remaining, I believe. So you can see that my team over on the east is dealing with that cruiser, whereas myself and the allied destroyer and the other allied ship I have here, we're going to deal with these battleships. So first up is going to be the Tirpitz, obviously, because he's on excuse me, on the lowest health, and he's going to be the first target that presents himself to me. So I'm going to fire a full salvo off into him. Misjudged it a little there, right? And I missed and I hit the island, but whatever. You see the North Carolina is now dead. One of my allied destroyers just completely got that guy with a nice torpedo strike, so that was awesome to see as well. And now the guns are reloaded, so we're going to put another salvo of high explosive into the Tirpitz. So you can see a lot of my team is actually shooting at this guy. Like the the destroyer I have with me, the other ally I have with me, myself, we're all shooting at this guy, and we're just about to finish him off here. So we'll get another launch off here as well. And you notice, my saving grace in all of this is that the Tirpitz actually isn't even firing at me. No, he's chosen to fire at one of my allies instead, so that's fantastic news for me, because I think, 1 or 2 salvos from that Tirpitz and I'd be gone. Oh well, it doesn't matter, Tirpitz is now gone. Unfortunately, he did manage to take out one of my friendly destroyers before he went down. Not such a big deal though, because there's only 1 enemy ship remaining. It's their one last cruiser, I believe. So it's going to be fairly easy to get this guy gone, and we know where he is. He's over here on the east, so all of us immediately set course for the east. Well, those of us who aren't already there, I should say. And we're going to track this guy down. We're going to get this kill, and we're going to get this battle won, which is just amazing, fantastic. Like I said, I played ranked battles all day today, and I only had 1 loss. Everything else was a victory, and I was really surprised with it. And really happy again to see the amount of teamwork that's taking place at these higher ranks. Is really phenomenal. It's what I really wanted from ranked battles as well. At the end of the day, I don't want to just jump into some crazy system here and play against random people who maybe aren't at the same skill level as myself. I'd rather play, with more skilled players. It just makes it better, a better experience overall. So you can see I got rank 9 with that victory, so that's not too bad at all. And I did get the associated rewards with it, so I was quite pleased with getting, I think it's 25 of the free Type 2 camos, so that's nice as well. And at these higher tiers, you get a reward at rank 9, no reward at rank 8, but then you get another nice reward at rank 7, which I also have, which is fantastic. So in terms of overall results, I mean, I was 3rd from the bottom, but look at the team. Everyone on the team was over 1,000. Like, that was a phenomenal teamwork game that we just had right there. Really good to see. In terms of credits, yeah, not so much, but that I don't really care. This is ranked battles. It's about the victory, about the teamwork. So that's today's video. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around, watching it through. Hopefully you learned some tips here on ranked battles, and maybe even gives you a little light at the end of the tunnel if you're still teetering on that rank 10 mark. It does get better the higher you go. The queue times might be a little longer, but the quality of the game gets a lot better. So, as always, folks, leave any comments you might have for me in the comment section below. Love reading those comments, responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you liked the video today as well. Hit the subscribe button if you are not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.